Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is our third episode and it's been quite a learning experience for me. I've actually really enjoyed filming these videos so far. I think the second one is getting close to kind of the format I'm hoping to have. I appreciate the feedback that a couple of you have sent me. A couple of my buddies have watched this and given me some good pointers, and yeah, this is a learning experience for me. I really want to just like document stuff I've been working on. Getting some views is nice. Hopefully get monetized one day, but for now, this is just a way for me to kind of just document how I work and stuff, because I do like working on cars a lot, and I've been told by a couple people that it would be fun to watch what I do and how I do it. One thing I said in the last video, and one thing I am really trying to get towards, is being a self-sustained mechanic and not have to rely on a shop for literally anything. So for the time being, the only two things that I can't do are mount tires and do alignments. So I decided that I'm going to try for the first time to mount tires and see how this goes. I mentioned this previously in the first episode, but the tires are pretty dry rotted. You can see all the cracks in them and it's starting to separate a little bit. The tread is really low. I actually don't know how old these are. I can't find the DOT. I'm sure I will. It's probably on the other side of the tire when I pull it apart, but all four tires are like that, so these are clearly not safe. I did buy a whole new set of tires. These are just some Chinese Westlake RP18s, but they are brand new. They're the 185 6014s. I've heard very mixed reviews on these, but I got the whole set for I think 225 bucks, so can't really beat that price for four brand new tires. To mount the tires though, I purchased everyone's favorite brand of tools, the Pittsburgh portable tire changer. The way this thing works is you anchor it into the ground. You've got, an attachment to break the bead. You'll pop the bead off, get the tire up on the mount thing here, and pull it off. This is really just like an archaic version of what a automatic tire changer that you find at any sort of tire shop would be. Now, to make this job a little easier on myself, I bought a couple of things. First off, the tire bead holders. So these help hold the tire down, or the bead down, when you're mounting a tire, and it helps as you spin this big guy around, get the tire over the top sort of lip of the rim. I also bought some new tire valves. These usually go bad over time. They get dry rotted and can crack and start leaking. You should replace these anytime you replace your tires. Most shops do, some of them don't, so always good to have those on hand. Lastly, I got some wheel weights. There's a couple different types of weights that you can usually get. These are the sort of hammer clamp-on style from Amazon. Got a whole box of them. Didn't really need a whole box, but these have a bunch of different sizes and options so that you can put weights on. So all this will help make this job a whole lot easier. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is put this tire mounter together and set it up in the garage and see where the best place to mount it is. And then we're going to anchor it into the garage floor using some press-in anchors, which I will show you in a minute. A couple minutes is all it really took to put together. It looks like the design has changed a little bit since the last time I looked at one of these. This pin is a little bit different. Instead of being attached, it just slides in, and there's kind of a rubber grommet that holds it into place right here. And this pin centers the wheel, or at least holds the wheel. It keeps it from spinning while you're rotating the tire. But other than that, you have this guy that gets tightened down onto the wheel. So you put your wheel on this surface, it's clamped to that surface, you spin this guy down, and then you have your bead breaker. So this goes up and down. Your wheel sits here. There's a nice little pad that this comes with, and you press down with this big kind of on or offer bar, I guess, if you want to call it that. It's got somewhat of a duck bill or duck head on it that you use to put the tire on and take it off. It's also got this kind of fork looking thing at the end, but you pretty much use this to do everything with the bead breaking and the tightening of the tool. Now, a lot of people modify these. You can get actually a really good duck head for this from a third party that makes mounting the tire really easy. That usually is about 200 bucks. And this whole thing I got for, I believe, 65. It was on sale, and $65 plus 20% off plus tax. So yeah, it was about $61, something like that. So anyway, I wanted to try it first as is. I might do the duck head mod later, but I don't think I really need to right now. I'm only doing the 4 tires on this Volkswagen, and then the 4 tires on my Mercedes 190e out here eventually. So I figured now I'm not quite breaking even if I took it to a tire shop. But if I do probably 3 cars with this, then yeah, that's when it's going to be worth it to get the duck head mod and replace tires with that, because it makes things a whole lot easier. But we'll give this a try and see how it is to start. Now the first thing you're going to want to do though with this is anchor it to the ground. It's really kind of flimsy and you don't want to just be doing it as is. So it does come with 4 holes in the frame on each side here, and we need to anchor that into the concrete surface of the garage floor, and I will show you how to do that now. To anchor this into the concrete, we're going to mark the 4 holes at the base here, move this out of the way. I'm going to drill into the concrete and put in these 3/8 inch drop-in anchors. They're about 1 5/8 inches deep, something like that. But you put these into the holes you drilled, and there's like a little insert in them that you hammer down, and it causes these fingers to sort of expand. And now you've got a threaded piece of steel in your concrete that doesn't stick out of the concrete. I'll be able to move this, anchor it when I need to, get it out of the way when I don't, throw it on the shelf so it's out of the way. But one of the reasons I put it in this location is because my air compressor is right here. It's also open to the front of the garage, so I actually have a lot of space here to work with tires and stuff like that. With the anchors in, you'll see that they're a little bit low to the concrete, but they don't stick out from the concrete. Now I can take a bolt and just thread it on in. Now that we have this thing anchored into the ground, you'll see it's really sturdy, so it's not going to fall over when we have a tire on there and we're trying to force this thing on. I'm going to go ahead and pop the first wheel off of the Jetta here and see if we can't get the tire off and get the first new one mounted. First wheel is off. You might notice that there is some corrosion and a little bit of rust right here. We'll have to take care of that. I might get some new wheels on here now I'm looking at it. It's kind of crusty, but still we're going to persist in our experiment until then. There's a protective center cap that goes around the outside, and then the lug cover there. So that's why I didn't see that before. I might clean this up a little bit with a wire brush, see if it's salvageable, but this car did come from Michigan, so I'm not totally surprised that there's a good amount of rust on these wheels. One more thing is I found the date code for these tires. It's on the back here, and you can see it is from 2001, so pre 9/11. I actually know a couple people who were born after 2001, so these tires are older than some people I know. But yeah, you can see back here it's pretty corroded, so I don't see any rust all the way through, but I don't know until I hit it with a wire wheel, kind of what we're looking at here. At the very least, I want to polish these up and get them repainted and get rid of some of this corrosion. Next thing I'm going to do is break the bead here using the bead breaker. The bead of the tire is usually a harder material. It's the same rubber, so it's very dense, and that presses up against the lip of the rim. That's what creates the seal, and you've got to break that before you can actually get the tire off. I have to say that was pretty surprising. One things I heard that was a weak point with the Harbor Freight tire changer was how poorly the bead breaker worked, but I was able to bust the bead off like super easily. And these wheels have been, or the tires have been on here for 23 years now. So yeah, busted the bead on both sides. I mounted the tire up on the top end here. Now what we're gonna do is use this guy to lift the bead over the edge and spin it all the way around. I'm starting to realize I didn't really give myself a whole lot of room here with this, so chances are high that I'll probably relocate it at some point, but for now we're going to try it where it sits. Wow, I'm actually pretty impressed. I'm sure you noticed, but I did damage the wheel a little bit here, trying to get the first lip off, but hey, you know what? The tire is off the rim. I know it's only half the battle, but I mean, that was relatively easy and it worked fairly well. So I think what I'm gonna do here is try and pound this back into shape, get this lip out of here. Yeah, the old tire is just trash. I mean, it is so crusty. And we'll go ahead and try and put a new one on. Now before I put the tire on, I'm going to go ahead and take out the valve stem here and replace that. And then we'll throw the tire on. New stem is in place. The old one was actually not bad. I moved it around and it looked pretty much the same as this, but it was 23 years old, so we are going to replace it, obviously. These are pretty easy. They just snap in from the other side and you just pull it straight through, pops into place, and you're good to go. I'm sure you saw me struggle there. It was a bit of a struggle. It was my first time trying to put the tire on, but we got the bottom lip, which is usually the easy one, so hopefully hopefully the top one isn't too hard. But this duck head, you're supposed to use this side to put the tire on, and it just seems to want to, you know, push the arm in whichever way that the tire is going. So I ended up just prying it on with this guy to get the bottom lip. I think this will be much more effective for the top. So let's go ahead and spray it down with some soap and get it put on. You'll see that the valve stem and the mark are lined up. And yeah, let's get going and see if we can get this installed. Well, we have the tire on. A bit of an unorthodox way of putting it on, but it is in place. This tool, yeah, it kind of sucks, to be honest. So I think that, yeah, the duck head that is sold as an upgrade is definitely seems to be worth the money. I was able to get it on, so I think that for the other three, I'm going to continue to use this, but I definitely see why people upgrade. Once you basically lose the lip of this guy off the tire, it won't go back in, and it does the same thing top and bottom, where it wants to just you know, slide out of your hand and go whichever way the tire is directing it to go. So makes it pretty difficult, but you know, we got it on, and we didn't damage the bead, which is good. So now, you know, I try to keep this centered or aligned at least, and it came unaligned, but that's okay. I'm gonna try and spin the tire so we can get it back into the right spot. And then we'll go ahead and fill it with air and seat the bead. Sliding the bead on tires can be a little scary, so what's going to happen is basically this tire is going to just kind of pop into place. It's currently low. You'll see as I add air that it'll just sort of pop up and rise. Okay, this took me a second because the bead was too low and it wouldn't take air, but I was able to pick up the tire so that it's kind of making a seal, and I've got a little bit of air in it, but we're going to go ahead and give it the rest. And you'll see this side is already seated, but this side needs to go, and so it'll pop. Goes the bottom. Okay, we're putting air in it. We're at 30 pounds now. We're going to go to 32. 31. 31 and a half. 32. Perfect. So let's go ahead and spray this tire down and see if there are any leaks, which the soapy water will show us. And I'm assuming there probably will be because of the condition of the rim itself. Surprisingly, nothing on this side. So, hey, look, we mounted a tire. Hooray, we did it. I'm actually kind of surprised. It was a little more difficult than I thought it would be, but honestly, it's the first time I've done this. So, yeah, I'm not too surprised that it took a little bit longer than normal. So we do have 3 more we're going to do. All those are pretty much going to be the same, so I'm not going to show those in its entirety. But what we are going to do next is try and balance this now. Well, now it's a few weeks later. I got really busy with this fun thing called life. I was on the road for work for about 2 weeks and got back. I was international, so I have just been struggling with jet lag. But anyway, I'm going to get back to mounting the tires. Since the last time I recorded, I ordered some different weights for the wheels, and I'm going to try and put those on and see if I can get them balanced. Here's what I got. I just got the standard stick-on magnetic wheel weights. They're 1/4 ounce each. These will just go on the inside of the rim, and that should hopefully fix our wheel balance issue. I definitely ordered the wrong kind. They don't really go on this thin lip that I have here. They go more on the thicker lip of a wheel, which is what you have here. So it's this kind of weight are the ones that I ordered. So wrong weights, but now I got the good ones. They're stick-ons. Yeah, and we're gonna try and balance them. A little bit of research to see what the best way to get a correct balance with one of these guys is. Apparently they work really well, but yeah, we'll give it a try. We won't know how well it works until the car is drivable, but for now we can at least balance everything after we mount the tires and see how they do. If there's one thing we do well on this channel, it's continuity. So it is a couple weeks later. I am editing this video right now, and I put a lot of effort into actually doing the job of changing the tires and mounting them and balancing them and everything and getting the tools set up. And I kind of didn't record as much as I thought I did. I have a lot of clips that I'm changing the tire or balancing it, but not a lot of me actually talking. That's one thing I'm starting to learn, is that I need to talk more as I'm going through all this stuff. I think it's a little bit better than the first couple episodes. But anyway, I'm recording this outro a couple days after balancing the tire, and the balancing did pretty well. The next episode you'll see, or actually not the next episode, but in a couple of episodes you'll see I'm going to be doing some front end work and some rear end work and replacing shocks and stuff like that. And I'm going to rebalance the tires when I have them off of the car. I was kind of getting, like I said, I'm getting back from an overseas trip, and I was kind of getting tired. And I wouldn't say I was rushing, but I definitely was not putting forth my best effort. Let's put it that way. So yeah, I got them balanced, but it probably isn't spot on like I want it to be. For that reason, yeah, I'm going to just rebalance everything again. But, the bubble balancer seems to work pretty well. Again, it's just for static balancing. The tire changer, I changed 3 more tires, and the kind of pry bar ended up bending. And, it's kind of coming loose, so I'm thinking the feet are starting to bend a little bit on the mounter. So, yeah, it's overall for $60, it's okay. I think it could be a little bit more beefy, a little bit more robust, but you get what you pay for. Like I mentioned earlier, the duck head modification that you can get, still a couple $100, but from doing the other 3 tires, I definitely think it's worth it. So I may end up buying it before I do the tires on my 190E, but I'm not gonna rush to get it right now. So with that being said, overall review, I'd give it a B minus for the Harbor Freight tire changer. Is this a job that I think I did well? Yeah, I think I did okay. Like I said, I won't really know until I can get it up to highway speed, or maybe even less than that, 40, 45, something like that, to see how well the tires are balanced. But overall, I mean, it costs about $40 a tire to change, mount, and balance them at a tire shop these days. So for my investment of about maybe $100 with the wheel weights plus the $250 for the tires, $65 for the mounter, it's worth the experiment. I had a good time doing it. Yeah, and I think I'll continue to try and do it and just continue to try and improve and get better at the whole process, and definitely don't want to bend my rims in the future. Anyway, this is Future Colin thanking you guys for watching again. This episode came out a couple weeks later than I anticipated it to be. I really wanted to edit it while I was overseas on my trip, but it just didn't work out that way. So anywho, I'm going to be releasing this episode, and then I've got another short one coming up after this. We're going to install a new head unit into the dash of the car, so we'll have a radio again. That one's a pretty short episode, but it's something that we got to do. So anywho, thank you again for watching. I appreciate you guys replying. I've gotten a couple replies and a couple of comments giving me some advice on how to work on this thing. And yeah, it's been a fun learning experience getting my hands dirty with the Mark II and taking on a couple different jobs that I normally wouldn't do, like changing tires. So anyway, thank you again for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.